10 months ago, I stopped getting paid. And the question I have been living with since is a simple one. How much does my life actually cost when nobody is paying me? Last month, I counted every single euro. $1,230. That's about $41 a day. But that is not the number that decides. A smaller one does. Soon I will leave to Asia, and that is where this number stops working. I will show you every line based on real bills, not estimates, and every line as a daily number, so you can hold it against your own life. One thing first, I pay in euros, so the euro figure stays on the screen. I will say the dollars because most of you are using dollars over there. But what I was actually looking for was not in the monthly total. And it took me a while before I looked in the right place. I'm Rashid, I'm 40, I'm from Estonia. I left my job last October. And if you're in your late 30s, doing the math in your head, whether you could survive without a salary for a period of your life, then this one is for you. But before the numbers, why I check them every week at all? When you have a salary, you do not really need to count. Money comes in, money goes out. When there is no salary, every number turns into something else. I checked my budget several times a week, not because I'm scared, because it is the only thing that tells me how much time I have left before I really needing an income. 3 weeks ago, I made a video about how much money I had when I left my job. $35,000. And I said it should last about 2 years. That meant around $1,460 a month. So I am not just counting costs, I'm checking an estimation I made. And right now, I'm under it. About $230 a month under. Money stops being money, it becomes a calendar, at least in my case and this point of my life. And when I opened up that list, the biggest part of it was not going where I thought. Food, $575. One person, $19 a day. I eat at home most days. I do not eat in restaurants, I do not order delivery. And I did not discover this number, I have watched it grow. This is the line I have looked at the most and done the least about. And only recently did I go and check why. Food here costs about 50% more than it did 5 years ago. Last year alone it went up 7%. Everything else went up under 5%. So I did not change how I eat. I just pay more for the same food. And this is where I made a choice without ever calling it a choice. When the prices go up, the easy move is to go down. Cheaper shelf, cheaper food. The shops know this. That shelf has been growing. I did not go there. I do not want my health to be the place where I save the money. And there is one more line here for exactly the same reason. Gym, protein and vitamins, $57. Medication, $17. $2.50 a day. Together, those two lines are $650, more than a half of my month. And that is not an accident. Those are the only two lines I refuse to quit. I'm 40, food and training are not an expense. They decide what shape I am in 5 years from now. Those two lines I choose, the next two I did not. The car, about $400 in total, $290 on fuel, $115 on service and insurance, $13 a day. The car is paid off. No loan, no leasing, and it is still my second biggest line. I live outside the city, Everything here is a drive away. That is not a lifestyle choice. That is a location, and you cannot cut the location this month. And the house works in the same way. Electricity was about $57 in July. In the winter it's about $290. Internet and phone $46, waste management $11, subscriptions like Netflix and smoke alarm $23, house insurance $40 every 4 months. In the summer this house is $5 a day. In the winter $13. And 2 weeks ago I made a decision here. I moved off the market price for electricity and I chose the fixed rate. In the summer I pay a bit more for that. In the winter it should be cheaper, especially if I heat the house at night. That is a bet. I do not know yet if it was the right one. And I keep the house at the minimum temperature. If I did not, then electric bill in the winter time would be $460 for the 2 buildings. I cannot decide that this month I will not heat the house does not ask. So the first 2 lines say who I am, these 2 say where I am. And here is the question you have already probably asked: how is that total so low? The answer is not discipline. I do not want you think I'm good at this. I don't have any loans, I don't have any leases, the house is mine, the car is paid off. The average home loan here is around $159,000. Over 25 years that is about $800 a month or even more, and this is the low end. If I had that loan, my number would not be 1,230. It would be over 3,000 or even more, taking account where I live and what houses I have. And I will not be sitting here, I will not be making this video because I could not quit the budget I had. I did not plan for this. I did not stay debt free because I knew I would consider leaving at 40 to a different country. But a decision I made years ago bought me a choice today. So if you are working out whether you could live without a salary for some period, do not start with what you spend, start with what you owe. I looked at this list and thought, fine, 1,230 a month. I am under my own estimate, and my Thailand budget is about the same size. I made a video about it 2 months ago. The food budget does not go down over there. I put the same number in. But I expect better food for the same money. More fresh, less processed. Here I pay more for the same food. There I hope to pay the same for more. This is an expectation, not a fact. I have not lived there. In 2 months I will know. Can I afford it? On paper, yes. And for a while that felt like the answer. But it was the answer to the wrong question. I split the list in 2. What comes with me and what stays here. Food comes with me. Training comes with me. The 2 lines I do not cut. They just move to another country. But the other half does not move at all. Electricity, internet, car insurance, waste, house insurance. That is around $300 a month, $10 a day. And no, the house is not staying empty. Family will be using it while I'm away. But the bills stay mine. It's my house, and that is the deal. And here is the honest part. I knew about every one of those bills. Electricity does not stop when I get on the plane. And I knew this before I bought the ticket. When I planned this trip, I added these lines up. I knew exactly what stays here. And I decided it was the price worth paying. Because it buys me something specific. the option to come back. Let me say plainly what this arithmetic means. This is not a swap. Half of this list doesn't not move at all. Thailand does not replace the 1200. It gets added on the top of 300. And this is where it stops being a spreadsheet. I said this was a price worth paying, and I meant it. But look at what I'm actually buying. For 5 months, that is reasonable. For a year, I don't know. Because at some point, the number becomes the decision. If I pay it long enough, I have chosen without ever choosing. And I think most of us have bill like that running, just not in the money. For some people it's a year, for some it is 10. I decided to pay this price. I never decided for how long. Here is my question for you. If your salary stopped tomorrow, which line of your list would keep running anyway? Put it in the comments. And in 2 months I will make this exact list in Thailand. Same table, different country.